Neighborhood streets are for driving, but they're also a space for connections. To help unleash the potential for a connection and all its benefits, a section of Blue Hill Avenue will be closed to traffic on Sunday, September 28th. To tell us about the Circle the City event, the second annual open street, are the president of the Emerald Necklace Conservancy, Julie Crockford, and the outreach and media volunteer with Circle the City, Latifa Ali. Thank you very much for being with us.
Thank you for having us again.
Latifa, I know you're familiar with the portion of the avenue where this is happening because previously you were with the mayor's response team. And so why do this on Blue Hill Avenue?
I think it's just the perfect space to do it. I mean, not because I said it, because the universe said so. There were a number of Circle of Cities that happened over the last 2 years in Boston, about 4 of them. Places that you know of, like Jamaica Plain, Arbor Way, and the Huntington Ave Arts District, and downtown at the State Street.
Rose Kennedy
Greenway. And this one was the one that had the biggest potential. It went from an area that we had done a lot of blight work on the ground with. And
this is, we should clarify, this is from Grove Hall to Dudley Street.
This is from Grove Hall to Dudley Street along the Blue Hill Ave corridor, going from what we call the Dudley Commons to Grove Hall Mecca. And it's a 1-mile stretch. And so what happened with the Blue Hill Ave corridor is that there was a really big need there, and we had done 2 years of focus group discussions and had come up with a vision plan that we call Piece of the Pie, P-E-A-C-E. And so we were looking for an organization that could add the infrastructure to our vision of closing down some of the streets. We didn't know we would get the wish list of a whole 1-mile stretch, which was it's just been unbelievable. And if you were there last year, you would see the sun was shining, but the biggest things were the hearts of the people on the streets.
Julie, I think of the Emerald Necklace Conservancy is parkland. So how do you bridge parkland to Blue Hill Avenue?
This brings park to the street. This brings the park-like feeling of openness and getting a relief from some of the pressures of city living, lots of car traffic and noise, and a chance to meet your neighbor and enjoy one another outside. So we feel like it sort of brings park to the street. The original goal for Circle the City is to connect park to park to park, and we've done that in some of the other events, opening up the Rose Kennedy Greenway, the Jamaica Hill event that Latifa referred to, where we connected down Glen Road from Franklin Park to the southwest quarter and Green Street, and it kept on going down to Center Street and across Pond Street out to Jamaica Pond, and that connected 3 major parks in a mile-long stretch. When we moved to Blue Hill for the second event last year after doing Huntington Avenue, which was a blast, but 95 degrees, there was something absolutely magical about what happened on Blue Hill. It was transformational. People just came outside and started grinning. And the moment the street was closed to cars, kids on bikes just appeared from all over the neighborhood, and people took over the street, which is the idea of a successful open streets event.
What were your impressions, Latifa?
It was surreal. I think everyone there who was on the planning team cried from their hearts, and it was the best event that I have ever been involved with in Roxbury or around the city even, because you saw a transformation on the street that you had never got a chance to witness firsthand. For instance, Blue Hill Ave was known for some of the prostitution and drug addiction. That was the reality. And I saw a prostitute on the street that day, and as soon as she saw the children, she self-corrected from some of the language that she was using. No one had to tell her anything, and that to me was what it was all about. You can't have 2 things in the same place at the same time, so the community had taken back the streets.
There were interfaith dialogues that day. The Boston Globe was a big partner. They put up an incredibly beautiful exhibit of photographs over time of history makers from the Black community in Boston, life-size portraits, if you will, or bigger-than-life portraits, and some of the history that went with that. And they gave out newspapers, and they talked to people. Interfaith dialogues started.
The synagogues
just came up out of churches that were right across the street from each other, but where the congregations really hadn't had much mingling, started talking, and this year they are leading together an interfaith dialogue. So what we witnessed was people just embracing one another and thrilled to have their street as a common ground where they could all play together. So we had drumming circles, and we had Merengue restaurant brought tables out to the street and served food. And we had
3 stages. One we called the Sugar Shack from yesteryear. We had a stage that dealt with more world kind of music. We had a One for All stage that had conscious interfaith rap all kinds of spoken word. So there was literally something for everyone along the boulevard. Not only were people riding free bikes, people were skating, people were doing Zumba, people were doing soca.
This is the skate lady. She's
I was the only one probably
skates.
skating, I admit. But there was just literally something for everyone. And the thing that I would love to stress to organizations that were part of the infrastructure of this, and there were 90 of them, was that everyone who brought something, they didn't bring brochures, they didn't bring the candy or the normal pins that you give away. What they did is, if you came to their table and they had a vision for vegetables, then they did vegetable Jeopardy. And so you got a chance to have an experience. And that's what you're going to witness if you come out September 28th from 1 to 5 on Blue Hill Ave.
Well, these are organizations that are supposed to help people in the surrounding communities too. So there might be people who haven't heard about them, and I guess this is a great way to get acquainted.
I hadn't even heard of them, and some of them were right off of Blue Hill Ave, like Lyft. They were new.
Right.
And they didn't know. Project Right, who's been a stalwart supporter of this project, right there on the boulevard, I didn't know of all the facets of their programs, like the VIP program, that deals with violence intervention and prevention. So they had a multitude of things that you think you're familiar with a program, but then they come out and they really explain it in a more intimate and exciting kind of way.
And we should mention who the other planners have been.
Sure.
At the table from the beginning for this project has been the Livable Streets Alliance, the Boston Collaborative for Food and Fitness,
Sustainability Guild, who's a manager on this project,
is really managing this year's project. And we also brought in last year, as you said, Project Right and Nuestra Comunidad and Boston Cyclists Union. So it's taken all of us to do the planning, and then we bring in another 80, 90 organizations to deliver the programming day of.
Shirley, one thing I see here very simply is to get people to feel at home on the street.
Right.
Whether it's your neighborhood or not.
Right.
And it'll be largely neighborhood people, but people will come from all over because of the thrill of being able to ride their bike up and down Blue Hill Avenue safely. So people will come and bring their kids and be out on the street because it's a safe place to be.
One of the things that happened when we condensed it from kind of 4 events to one is that it's an invite to the city now. So Blue Hill Ave, we certainly are highlighting the best of what's on Blue Hill Ave. Businesses will be in front. If you're a hair salon, you're cutting your hair on the street. So all of these exciting things that you might have witnessed in your lifetime are going to be happening on the street on that day. You'll have older folks with younger folks all mixed up and jumbled up. And we've had new zones this year. So we have an innovation and technology zone that we just released out, our history zone, so you get a chance to know our pioneers, veterans.
Veterans asked to be part of it. We were thrilled.
Right.
Well, with so much going on, I guess you need volunteers. So who
We
gets the
sure
pitch
do.
for volunteers?
I think we have over 50 signed up, but we'd like to have 150. So plenty of opportunity to volunteer. We need at least 100 volunteers day of. And we'll have 3-hour shifts for people. They don't have to volunteer the whole day. We want them to enjoy the event. So you can volunteer by going to the Emerald Necklace Conservancy homepage, just emeraldnecklace.org, just like a emerald necklace, emeraldnecklace.org, and right on the homepage is Circle the City and a link to the volunteer page.
And Latifa, one more time briefly, the hours of the day when this is happening?
It's September 28th, Sunday, from 1 to 5. And in a nutshell, I just want to say the vision that we've been pushing is it's a 4-hour urban utopia. So that's what you should expect when you come. If you haven't witnessed that or experienced that yet, that's what you'll experience at Blue Hill Ave.
Thank you both very much, Latifa Ali and Julie Crockford. And to give you a foretaste of what's going to be happening on Blue Hill Avenue, we take a look at this trailer.
Circle the city with me. Bring all your friends and family.
Join Circle the City Blue Hill Ave for the 2nd annual Boston Open Streets, open world pavement park event, where the trees are the blossoming organizations rooted to engage residents, businesses, and faith community partners. And the flowers are the positive people, the bees are the children, so catch the buzz. September 28th, the Circle of City, Blue Hill Ave, Grove Hall Mecca to Dudley Commons. The natives are coming from 1 to 5 p.m. Be there. It's an open gym sponsored by the Emerald Necklace Conservancy, the Sustainability Guild, Project Right, Boston Cyclists Union, Livable Streets, Boston Collaborative for Food and Fitness, and the City of Boston, all in conjunction with funding from Blue Cross Blue Shield and the Boston Globe.
Circle the city with me.